Hey, it's John from the Bengston Woodshop, and today I'm going to show you how I make my unions for my medium-sized flags. Now, I start off with some dimensional lumber that's usually 1 by 12, and then I cut it down into its final shape or dimension, which is going to be 14 3/4 by 10 1/2. And you just want to, I buy the premium lumber. It's just easier to work with. I don't have to worry about a lot of the knots and other things that come along with some of the more inexpensive lumber. You can do that, there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't like to use it. It builds out perfectly fine. I just like to have my products without the knots. Some people like the more rustic look. I just happen to like the more finished or high, like polished look of the flags. Now, something that I do is I go and I char the back or char all the wood, and I do that just using a blowtorch, and then I sand it to about 180 just real quick to remove any of the deep char marks. And then after that, I take and I stain it with some Minwax water-based stain. I use the True Blue color. Minwax has recently changed their line of stain. It used to be much thinner, like water-based stains would be, but their water-based stain is almost like their gel-based stains now, in the fact that it's more of a pudding type texture. It's just thicker. In my opinion, it takes longer for the wood fibers to absorb into it. So you can use a pre-stain conditioner if you so choose. I don't typically use it because like I said, I burn my wood and then I go and I carve it up. So a lot of those spots don't typically stand out if the stain soaks up in too much in one area as opposed to another area. So I do use a CNC for my flags now. I know some of you out there will think that that's kind of cheating or a cheaper way to do it, but I tell you, I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to a lot of the work that I do, and I was spending upwards to 15 hours carving one union, so 50 stars, and you just can't get your money back if you put that much time into something. It's not gonna be reciprocated on the buyer's end. They don't really care that you spent 15 hours or 45 minutes carving some stars. They just see the finished product, and that's what they want to buy. So to save me some time and heartache, so I can produce flags faster, I went and bought a Bob'sCNC. Again, this is not a sponsored video. None of my videos are as of yet, and I'm sure they won't be for many years. But I got a Bob'sCNC, I want to say in April of this year, and I went and got the regular E4. They no longer sell it. It was a good CNC. I just ran into some issues with over tightening some washers, which then caused a little bit of a wobble in the machine. But they've since come out with an E4 Evolution that uses a whole different type of system, and I tell you, it's solid. I haven't had any issues. I can actually run the machine faster in more dense hardwoods and stuff than the previous machine. And this is a 2 foot or 24 inch by 24 inch cut surface, and like I said, I absolutely love it. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. This union that I'm carving today is going to be a little bit different. Hopefully it turns out pretty well. It's actually going to be, so you can see kind of the bleed through right here, but so it's actually going to be the Michigan state logo, and it's going to have the stars behind it. So it's for a buddy of mine. He's getting ready to retire from the Army, and I just want to do something special for him. So he wants a Michigan state flag, so we're going to go ahead and make it blue and yellow. The stripes are going to be blue and yellow, and then this is going to have the Michigan logo. It's not your traditional American flag. So let's go ahead and get the machine set up, and I will show you what that carving looks like. All right, so one thing that I like to do is I like to take a piece of tape, just some blue painter's tape, and I like to throw it down here right in the middle. middle-ish. And then I take a straight line that I have, some type. This is a cutoff, but it's actually straight. So I just line up my corners and make a line. And then I take and I rotate that so you can see what I'm doing here. And I make another line. Now, what that does, and you probably can't see it that well on the camera, but it identifies the very center of that board for me. That's where I know to line up my CNC, so when I start carving, I'll line that up right there. And it knows in reference to this piece of wood where it's at. All right, so just to explain what's going on is we have zeroed our machine to the center of the board. That means our X-axis, which travels back and forth, our Y-axis that travels north and south, or top to bottom, and our Z-axis, which runs from top to bottom. All those are set to this center. And when I turn the machine on and hit play, it's going to start recording. But before I do that, I'm actually going to remove this tape. Not that it's going to hurt it, I just don't need it on there, and I don't want to pick it off later. It would carve through this painter's tape without any issue. And you'll see that in some other builds. I use something called an ore mask that I carve through. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this started, and I will see you in a bit. All right, so now we're done with the roughing pass. We've changed out our bits. I was using before, I don't know if you can see this very well. This is a 1/8 downcut spiral bit, and I was using that to clear away most of the material. Now I've changed this out for a 90-degree V-bit, and we will go ahead and do the detail pass now. All right, so all said and done, I think it turned out pretty well. It's got a lot of detail. I just need to go back and maybe sand some parts, make it a little bit smoother here, take some of the machining marks out of there. But I've already sent a picture to the individual that's going to be receiving this flag, and they absolutely love it. So just got to finish staining some spots here, go ahead and stain the stripes and assemble the flag, and you'll see the rest of that in another build video, so stay tuned. Have a great day.